Hash the Muskian gambit, privatizing space one contract at a time. Elon Musk, the enigmatic CEO of SpaceX and Starlink, stands accused of orchestrating a calculated takeover of crucial space and satellite operations, leveraging his influence within the Trump administration to funnel lucrative government contracts towards his own companies. This alleged scheme, rife with potential conflicts of interest, raises serious questions about the blurring lines between private profit and public service. The stakes are astronomical, involving not just billions of dollars, but also the very infrastructure underpinning essential national services. Former employees of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, a critical agency responsible for weather forecasting, environmental monitoring, and other vital functions, paint a disturbing picture. They allege that Musk, a known close ally and significant financial backer of Donald Trump, is strategically dismantling NOAA's capabilities, effectively paving the way for SpaceX and Starlink to dominate the burgeoning commercial space market, projected to reach a staggering $2 trillion in value over the next decade. This isn't merely opportunistic. It's a meticulously planned campaign of privatization, fueled by allegations of greed and potentially illegal actions. The accusations center on Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, nicknamed Doge, which, according to critics, serves as a thinly veiled mechanism to steer taxpayer funds directly into his own pockets. While Musk boasts of slashing spending, the reality, according to whistleblowers, involves a systematic dismantling of NOAA's workforce. The agency has suffered a staggering 1,300 layoffs under Doge's stewardship, leaving critical programs vulnerable and potentially compromising national security interests. Adding fuel to the fire, Donald Trump Jr.'s investment firm recently purchased $50 million worth of SpaceX shares, fueling speculation of insider knowledge and potential collusion. This transaction, coupled with the mass firings at NOAA, suggests a coordinated effort to weaken a government agency and simultaneously enrich Musk's enterprises. The timing is particularly suspect, occurring just as NOAA's responsibilities are being increasingly privatized, creating an environment where SpaceX enjoys an unprecedented competitive advantage. Before Musk's influence took hold, SpaceX was often lauded by former NOAA employees as a valuable partner. However, the recent aggressive actions raise serious questions about the company's intentions. Is this legitimate business acumen or a calculated strategy to monopolize the space industry? A newly filed Freedom of Information Act request, spearheaded by the Public Employees for Environmental Responsibility, PEER, aims to shed light on the opaque communications between NOAA and Doge, seeking to unravel the truth behind these allegations. PEER's executive director, Tim Whitehouse, explicitly states that this privatization push is driven by greed and corruption, aligning with long-standing desires within the right-wing political sphere, a strategy clearly outlined in the infamous Project 2025 playbook. This playbook, a blueprint for conservative policy changes, calls for the privatization of key government functions, precisely the actions being carried out by Musk and his allies. The alleged scheme extends beyond NOAA. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, reportedly ordered its staff to secure tens of millions of dollars in funding for new Starlink contracts, a move that raises concerns given Starlink's increasingly prominent role in the agency's modernization of aging air traffic control systems. This follows a substantial $2.4 billion contract awarded to Verizon last year, yet Starlink seems to be subtly circumventing this process, potentially undercutting fair competition and transparency. The influence of Doge and Musk's companies spreads across various federal agencies. The U.S. Government Services Administration, under Doge's directives, mandated the use of Starlink internet services, a move that raises concerns about monopolistic practices and the potential vulnerability of critical government systems. Another agency is reportedly planning to contract with Starlink, further solidifying Musk's dominance in the government services sector. Customs and Border Protection is even evaluating Starlink's capabilities for border surveillance, raising questions about data security and the implications for privacy. The Traffic Coordination System for Space, TRACCS, a program designed to manage satellite launches and reentries, offers another avenue for Musk's alleged scheme. While SpaceX already works with TRACCS, concerns remain about potential vendor lock and the undue influence Musk's companies might exert on the program. One former official expressed concerns that Musk's priorities might not always align with national interests, creating vulnerabilities within this critical space infrastructure. The situation becomes even more intricate when considering the ongoing lobbying efforts by SpaceX, telecom giants, and other industry players. These companies are aggressively pushing the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, to auction off valuable radio frequency spectrum bands. These frequencies are vital for wireless communication, including critical satellite operations performed by NOAA, the military, and the CIA. NOAA's satellites rely heavily on specific frequencies to monitor atmospheric water vapor, a crucial component of weather forecasting. If the FCC, influenced by Musk's lobbying, sells off spectrum bands too close to these frequencies, it could create debilitating interference, potentially impacting accurate weather prediction and even disrupting cellular phone service across the nation. This deliberate disruption of essential services, orchestrated for private gain, constitutes a grave risk to national security and public safety. The Muskian gambit, therefore, appears to be a multifaceted strategy involving mass layoffs, strategically secured contracts, and aggressive lobbying efforts, all designed to privatize key elements of the nation's space and satellite infrastructure. The resulting concentration of power in the hands of a single individual, with close ties to the highest levels of government, poses a significant threat to democratic principles, fair competition, and the very safety and security of the American public. The unfolding investigation must uncover the extent of this alleged scheme and hold those responsible accountable, ensuring that national interests prevail over private enrichment. The fate of space exploration, and indeed critical national infrastructure, hangs in the balance.